The MLB trade deadline has come and gone. Some teams are preparing for the race to October. Other teams are preparing for the race to whatever the MLB equivalent of Cancun is. Here to discuss it with me all, I have assembled my version of the Avengers, starting off with the lovely and talented and clean-shaven tonight, Brett Gosnell. Brett, how is it going?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Fantastic. And there's more. We've got from At the Plate with Danny Foxworth. There's only I can't even name all the podcasts now. It needs to be the Danny Foxworth Entertainment Network. We've got my man, Danny Foxworth. Danny, what's going on?
Defend. I like that. Danny Foxworth Entertainment Network. Yes. I love that. You know, I'm going to chip you a percentage, Brandon.
I'm doing
great,
too.
Man. I'm doing fantastic.
Yes. So the big news, if you can't tell by Brett's hat and my this is a Shohei Ohtani All-Star jersey. Brett actually woke me up with this news the other morning. The Dodgers landed Tarik Skubal from the Tigers. I don't even know what to say. I know what everyone else is saying. So we're going to open the floor to the only non-Dodger on the panel, Mr. Danny Foxworth. Danny, what are your thoughts about the trade and the Dodgers ruining baseball?
Honestly, I love it. I love it. It's like the Dodgers. They're like the Monstars of the MLB. And no, I've seen a lot of people just be up in arms about it. And like you said, talking about how it's ruining baseball and, the rich getting richer. I was like, man, you know what? It is an embarrassment of riches. But at the same time, you got to give credit to that front office. They're the smartest front office in all of Major League Baseball. Arguably the smartest front office in all of sports, because they got Skubal for what, 3 prospects?
I couldn't believe it.
And they didn't have to give anybody, they didn't have to get rid of anybody off the active roster in order to get them. I was like, damn, how did they do it? I was like, as a Thunder fan, seeing how well and how shrewd Sam Presti makes moves in the front office, I was like, I couldn't help but respect it, bro.
That's a great point. As a Thunder fan, you get it. You have an appreciation. You did share a very funny video on Instagram of Michael Jackson shopping as though he was the Dodgers in that documentary, just freaking out thinking, yes, that's mine. I can't do the Michael Jackson voice.
That's pretty good.
Yes. So yeah, that was hilarious. And I would be mad if it was not my team, but it is my team, and me and Brett both pull for Gamecocks football, so I feel like we deserve this.
Absolutely.
Brett, when you got the news, what were you thinking? And tell us how we're not ruining baseball. And I will share, speaking of basketball, I will share the Skubal pick of the century.
Whoa.
Is that him?
Yes. That's
wow.
That's the man who's helping ruin baseball.
That's incredible.
Kingman, Arizona.
That's where he's from?
The hair, too.
I think that's right.
Me.
Wow.
God. So, well, first of all, like Danny said, we have the smartest front office in all sports. And as evidenced by that is we have one of the very best farm systems in all sports, despite every year we haven't picked in the first round in years because we've been paying the luxury tax, getting all the penalties for spending all the money. We're finishing, top of the league every year. So our picks at the end of the first round, if we do have one. And yet we still, despite all the draft penalties, we still end up drafting well enough every year. We reload, we stay with the top 3 farm system. And Danny, I think it was on your preview like 2 years ago. We were saying who's going to win each division. And of course I picked the Dodgers to win the West. And I said at that time, everybody was mad about we had just signed Shohei and Yamamoto. And I was like, well, y'all are about to get madder because we've got the top farm system and we're fixing to make the biggest trade also. I didn't know who it was going to be, but we waited a couple years to actually do that. But here it is. I mean, that's another resource we got. We got the money and we got the farm system. So we can get players however we want to get players. So
Nostradamus over here.
Yeah, we should have. I should have pulled the clip. And my main problem with Skubal is that, and I think that this picture highlights it. I want to call him Tarik so bad, and he's going for Tarik in this picture. I feel like, but yeah, I couldn't believe, as you were saying, Danny, like I couldn't believe how little we had to give up to get him. And I only say we for the Dodgers because they're the only great franchise I pull for, other than the Aces. Actually, I'll do we with the Aces. But I couldn't believe. I was like, someone's got to be heading out who is in the big leagues right now. I probably would have picked a couple players too. Sheehan and Kyle Tucker. What are you doing? But yeah, I do think, and I want Brett's opinion on this too. I do think a change will be coming, but I think it will most likely be in relation to how we share with our TV deal. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get a salary cap through. The players' union is just going to be fully against that. They're not going to let that happen. But yeah, it'll just be stricter revenue sharing and stuff, which they already, when we pay the luxury, everybody talks about how the Dodgers are paying the luxury tax every year. They don't say where that goes. That goes to y'all's broke ass teams, haters, and y'all still ain't spending it. So it'll just probably be a stricter, we pay more luxury tax, something like that. But now, to be fair, the Dodgers TV deal is just a behemoth. That Southern California TV market is huge, and if they have to cut into that to share, like I couldn't object to that.
Yeah, me either. Like that, it is what it is, and I will pull up the 2026 salaries so everyone can see. Clearly, the Dodgers far and away number one. But you see from some other teams there, not necessarily a guarantee of success. At number 5, the Toronto Blue Jays, who made a couple of different moves. They have not looked anywhere close to the team that the Dodgers faced in the World Series last year, the most incredible World Series I've ever seen. They traded Kevin Gausman. I don't even know where to start with the Blue Jays and their issues. Either one of y'all have any thoughts on them? Because I think I'm going to sound like a hater because I don't really appreciate their manager. So maybe Danny, as our AL representative, what's going on there?
Well, I've watched maybe 10 Blue Jays games this year, and the thing that really stood out to me the most was how bad their offense is. Like pitching wise and defense feels like they really hadn't lost a step, but man, for lack of a better term, at the plate, it's been woefully bad. It's like I was looking some my stats up. It says offensively, as a team, they're second worst in the league in runs per game. They're third worst in OPS, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. That's their Achilles heel right there.
That is tough. And so,
So what's crazy? The crazy thing about that's what clearly that's their problem is the offense. Last year, they kind of like revolutionized the game, we thought, with their offensive approach because the Dodgers had we're going to draw a lot of walks, we're going to try to hit a lot of home runs approach, and we don't really care if we strike out. We don't want to, but we don't really care. The Blue Jays went up there and said, we are not striking out. We're going to put the ball in play. Kind of more of an old school approach in that regard. And, they scored shitloads of runs on us that World Series until games 6 and 7, thankfully. And I was thinking, man, this new hitting coach, we got to try to poach this hitting coach. And then, of course, game 7, we hit a solo home run in the 8th, 9th, and the 11th whenever Will Smith hit his to win it. So our approach ended up winning out. But I thought their offensive approach was the new wave, and it has somehow just fallen apart this year.
I would have loved it because that was a great era of baseball. What are some other teams that have been flops this year for y'all? Brett, we will turn it right around back to you.
I mean, most people would probably say the Mets have not lived up to expectations, but for me personally, I didn't expect much out of them because they let Pete Alonso walk. They let Edwin Diaz come over to us for no real reason and replace him with Devin Williams, who has been predictably terrible. Made no effort to replace Pete Alonso's bat. They just had a horrible offseason, and they're letting guys walk and they're trying to get more athletic, they said. And then right at the end, they say, well, here's Bo Bichette. Like, well, that just goes against everything y'all were trying to do. And so I'm not surprised at all that they suck. Now, Freddie Peralta being terrible has been a little bit of a surprise. But, yeah, I guess the Mets would be the standard answer. For me, I'm kind of disappointed in the Orioles. I thought they might have been better. The ones who got Pete Alonso. They've not been anything at all. Gunnar Henderson, my first pick in my fantasy draft, has sucked ass all year. And then this is kind of stupid, but I thought the A's would be pretty good too, and they've been terrible as well. I knew they weren't going to be able to pitch, but I thought they would score a ton of runs, and they've not done that either lately.
And to your point about the Mets, I don't understand. It's like they're just spending money to get rid of it. I don't really see the vision there. It kind of reminds me of the Lakers. Just like, we should spend money on this guy and see what happens.
That's exactly what it was, because they have the GM that was with the Brewers, so they brought in this galaxy brain small market guy, and he was he's going to let Pete Alonso go. He's going to get more athletic and do all this and that, and then it's like the owner stepped in and was like, wait, we got to spend money on somebody, and he looks around and Bo Bichette's the only one left. Let's give it all to him. So it's like there wasn't a consistent plan for their offseason. And the consistent plan would have been stupid too, but they didn't even stick with the stupid plan.
We'll just have two terrible plans, and we'll go after both of them. Danny, who have you been your disappointing teams this year?
I'm piggybacking on what Brett said. It's been the Mets and the O's, and with the Mets, and just seeing how bad Marcus Semien has been. Whew, boy, I tell you, I was sad to see him leave Texas, but it was time for him to go. And you talk about Flushing, Queens is where dreams go to die. I'm telling you. Them and the O's as well. And then them getting rid of Adley Rutschman. I didn't see that coming. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick, and they just, hit the bricks. And then, like you said, with Gunnar Henderson, and then also Jackson Holiday, I hadn't really heard his name at all this year.
I gotta say, anytime I watch the O's play, and they had that season a couple years ago where they were really good.
Yeah.
Anytime I watch them play, I look out specifically for Holiday, and he just does not look like that dude. Mm. Like that is tough. And Rutschman did, and that's the one they move off of. Obviously, they're probably a much bigger market for Rutschman than Holiday, but that looks like a swing and a miss, if you will, on Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Speaking of how good they were 2 years ago, that was Danny's Texas Rangers that eliminated them when they won 101 games, I think, and then Texas knocked them out.
Yeah.
But do you remember they had the stadium was packed every game, and they had that thing in left field where the guy was like spraying the water on the fans. It was like a pool party thing. Mm-hmm. That dude's just spraying onto empty seats now.
That's such a terrible thing when you have something. It'd be like probably. Do you think the Rally Monkey is still going to Angels games? Like
I don't know.
You have like a thing like that, or anyone's? Are they still cleaning the Diamondbacks are okay, but is anyone like bothering to clean the pool, or is it just like got algae in it?
Algae.
Yeah, it's just like So, Brett, I do want to ask you, because we had a conversation about this in person. The Giants, with their experiment with hiring a college manager, probably not the best idea.
That was truly insane. I mean, and as a college coach, I loved that guy. I would love to see Carolina have this guy one day. Not that we're in the market anymore for a good coach. I think we finally have one at Carolina. But Tony Vitello was an elite college coach. But he was an elite college coach because he was recruiting the best players, and the best players wanted to come play for him. That's not what happens in Major League Baseball. No. You don't recruit. You don't recruit players. So I don't know what the thought was there. I mean, it's literally never been done before. He is literally the first coach ever that has come straight from college to the pros. So much of baseball, like any one of us could coach a baseball team in terms of knowing the correct thing to do. Like, baseball is not a difficult sport in that regard. It's the coach, to me, is about like having a commanding presence in the locker room, and like probably being a former player, commanding respect to these guys for 162 games. Bringing in a college coach, like, that just made no sense. He's not going to get the respect that these guys, and probably at least half of them didn't play in college. Like, like, what's Rafael Devers going to think of a college coach? I mean, we know what he thinks because he refused to be pinch run for that one game. I mean, it was just an insane thing to try.
Oh man, couldn't happen to a better team.
Yep.
You did mention Freddie Peralta and how terrible of a season he's had. He is starting tonight for his new team, the Tampa Bay Rays, who I love. But we have to talk about other players who have had disappointing seasons. And the flashing neon sign of the number one player on this list has to be the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Danny, have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, you talked to a bunch of fans on your show. You've watched a lot of baseball. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like the Blue Jay effect just rubbed off on him all the way in Seattle. And from what I understand, he was trying to like play through an oblique injury, and it's showing. Like, yeah. His numbers have just gone off, just taking a nosedive. And it's really been wild to witness, considering he hit like 60 some odd home runs last year, and he was, like MVP caliber player. Yeah. And then just to go from that to this, it's really been just like hard to wrap my mind around.
It's absurd. I'll pull up his stats real quick. 162 batting average, 12 homers.
Please.
Yeah. Does have the oblique injury. And then, Brett, he also kind of pointed a bit to playing in the World Baseball Classic. How much stock do you put in that?
None. I mean, unless he was tortured in the back room of the World Baseball Classic or something. I don't know. Like, that don't. I mean, there's just nobody has had any effect like that from the World Baseball Classic. I mean, that makes no sense at all. The oblique injury is certainly believable.
Yes. That would make the most sense to me. Someone like not getting to play every day. It is what it is. The other player, the closest comp I could find historically for a fall off, and a lot of this is due to the fact that, how many guys have hit that many home runs and produced the level that Cal did last year. The closest comp. Any guesses before I share my screen?
Brady Anderson?
That is a great guess. That was very close. Yes. He definitely he made the list.
Albert Pujols, but his wasn't as sudden. I mean, it took a few years.
That was certainly more gradual. Old Hack Wilson.
Man, that was my
I went
next
all the
pick.
way back. Yeah, I could see it in your eyes, Danny. So,
Yeah.
1930, 56 homers, still MLB record 191 runs driven in. The next season, 13 homers, 61 runs driven in.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
Did they have obliques back then?
They did not. Obliques were not invented until 1954.
What about piss tests?
So he would have failed it. He would have pissed hot for a different reason. Apparently, a guy who enjoyed a drink, and he, from what I read, celebrated a little too hard after this record season and just was never the same. He has the one kind of bounce back season in 1932 and then was out of the league like 5 seasons later.
This was Prohibition era, right? I'm the history major. I should know, but
okay. I was going to agree with you because I know you're a history major.
He probably got into some bad alcohol. He probably got into some stuff that was made in a bathtub and poisoned him.
I could see it. And a truly incredible life story, like very tragic upbringing, probably shouldn't have become anything, then became something. And then as soon as he truly became something, his demons caught up to him and he drank this moonshine that took away his vision, apparently. But that was the closest, the closest comp I could find. So we will go back to modern times. Who else has been disappointing this year? Brett, you are batting leadoff.
All right, I've got a few here. Let's go ahead and get the Dodgers out of the way. Kyle Tucker, of course, has been just pathetic.
Can I have a minute here?
Yes.
I am so tired of seeing this guy who he swings at the first pitch as though he is double parked and has to go move his car. And then I'm not sure he gives a shit one way or the other. Like, I have to at least see you try to break your bat over your head one time when you're playing this terribly. I'm sick of this man. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but damn it. But continue. Thank you.
He is supposed to be a like baby Juan Soto type, not as nearly as good, but like walks as much as he strikes out kind of guy, and yeah, he's up there all year. He has went up there just hacking at the first pitch. It makes no sense whatsoever. I get maybe coming out of the gates and trying something new, but after a month or two of being terrible, don't you have to try to switch back to what made you who you are? But yeah, as of yesterday, he's still hacking away. And
yeah, I'd love to see him do his version. What would his version of the Soto shuffle look like?
I don't just shuffling back the dugout. I
don't know. Yeah, he's gotten quite good at that.
So yeah, he's a huge disappointment. $60 million a year.
I could do this. I'd do it for 30.
Yeah. And he's on a 4-year deal. He's got options, after 2 years, but those are his options, not ours.
Well,
so,
fuck.
I've got to say, Mookie Betts has been another disappointment. Last year he had the excuse of getting sick as a dog and like losing 50 pounds before the season started. That like sapped all of his power. This year he looks good. He's put on a lot of weight. He looks physically bigger and good at the plate, but yeah, he's still not really hitting. But he's still playing elite shortstop, which is just amazing. I mean, he's playing good enough shortstop that he's still a very valuable player, even if he's not hitting. But him not hitting is a disappointment.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It is. Jarren Duran, another person I drafted early on based on how good he looked in the World Baseball Classic. He's still under 200. The aforementioned Gunnar Henderson, he's not really doing anything. And the good news, my last player is good news. Fernando Tatis has been a disappointment, which has been a pleasure for me.
Yes. He might need another bout of ringworm to get that turned around because he is struggling. I got to pull up and see. Okay. I do have. This is news to me, but we are up to a whole 8 homers for Fernando Tatis.
Wow.
So I will remind everybody that in 2021 he hit 42 homers. Then, oddly, in 2022, missed the entire season due to a PED suspension. He did bounce back, not to 42 homers, but that's just what a strange coincidence.
I know. Yeah, they talk about that. Like when you're watching them play, they'll do graphics like this is what he did before this year, and where did the power go? Where did it go? Like, I have no idea what could have happened.
It's the damnedest thing. Danny, who has disappointed you this season?
Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where he even realized he's stinking it up this year. I think he was voted as a starter for the American League, and he was like, "No, I decline. I'm not good enough to earn that honor this year." And kudos to him for being self-aware.
That is so crazy to me because, first of all, I love watching him play. As much as I don't like John Schneider, I love watching him, Vlad Guerrero Jr. play. And I have never been more terrified of a hitter than I was last year when Vlad Guerrero Jr. was at the plate in the World Series. That guy, he may as well have been prime Bonds. He was so good. And so, yeah, that is a shock. And you're right. That's really commendable because I probably would have been out there starting in the All-Star game. As sorry as I have no shame. So shout out to him for having more shame than me.
Yeah, he's got 6 home runs.
Yeah, I don't understand 6 homers for Vlad Guerrero Jr.
And 44 RBIs.
That makes no sense. I don't understand.
Yeah.
This is why the game of baseball is just got to be the most awful game to play.
That was the best postseason performance of all time, probably. What he did throughout the whole postseason, particularly the World Series.
Yeah, 397, 8 homers, 15 RBI in 18 games. And so for him to look like this, I don't know, man. Any other disappointing players from you, Danny?
No, actually, Mookie Betts and Kyle Tucker were on my list too. So
yeah,
Brett covered those,
which is proof that the Dodgers aren't completely ruining baseball because sometimes, I mean, it's 2 years in a row where we like Conforto and Tucker back-to-back seasons. That's tough. Now, I'm not going to complain too much, but I will say that's tough. And Mookie, who I think we all enjoy watching play, that hurts too. I will say he had a really good June where it looked like, we were back, but I don't know. He's had some historic August that I will be pulling for that to happen as well. Moving on, Luis Garcia Jr. going from the Nationals to the Yankees, homered in his debut, was having a great year for the Nationals, who apparently are just getting rid of everybody. What does this do for the Yankees, who are trying to chase down the Rays, in your mind, Brett, if anything? And I will say, big news for the Yankees. They sent Volpe down to AAA today,
and brought up Lombard, their top prospect, I think.
Yeah. So
the Yankees are going to have to just get people back healthy. Of course, Aaron Judge has been out most of the year. Don't know. Probably he is coming back, but don't know when. Bellinger has now went down. He wasn't hitting anyway, really, for the past month or two, but he's down now with a hamstring. I guess Garcia can help him stay afloat a little bit. Ben Rice has been amazing for them. Credit to him. But really, to do anything, they're just going to have to get people back healthy. Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, he's always hurt, but he, surprise, continues to be hurt. So they could have traded for more people. Garcia was a good pickup, but they probably needed to make even more trades than they did. Hunter Goodman. I know that's a later segment of who we thought would get traded. That was a guy that I thought the Yankees might pick up, catcher for the Rockies. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is a good pickup. It helps him, but I don't know that it doesn't make him better than the Rays.
It feels like if George Steinbrenner was still at the helm, I think they do make the Goodman trade because Wells has been just awful. Danny, again, our AL representative. How scared are you of the Yankees compared to the Rays, who they're chasing down, and now the Red Sox, who are hot as hell?
Yeah. I was a little surprised with this pick, considering that both Garcia and Ben Rice play first base. I'm just curious as to what they're going to do with that. And then also they got Paul Goldschmidt playing at first base as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to sit, like they're going to have they're going to designate one of them to play like whenever there's a lefty on the mound starting that day, which, if I'm not mistaken, what it says right here, Aaron Boone says he sees Rice, Luis Garcia Jr., and Paul Goldschmidt all as first baseman DH, with Goldschmidt playing against left-handed pitchers. So, yeah, they got a log jam at first base, but yeah, I like Luis Garcia. I've watched him play a couple of times, but I was just really surprised that the Yankees picked him up, considering that they got Ben Rice at first base.
That's a great point. And I wonder, I know Goldschmidt is having he's having a bad year too. And so I wonder how much, if he was having more of a typical season for him, if they would have done that. But you're right, that who knows with them. But they did demote Volpe, who I only don't like because they were talking about him so much during the Dodgers-Yankee World Series. I sound like such a homer tonight. Is this the Bill Simmons podcast? That's who I sound like. And I'm sweating with shame. I got my towel, but it's my Gamecock towels to remind me that it's not all good across all sports. But oh my gosh, I got to get a grip. I'm not going to tonight, but I have to at some point. Let's move on to players who have had some under the radar good seasons nationally. We will throw it back to Danny. Danny, who's had a season that kind of needs more love across the globe?
As a Rangers fan, I would say one of the only bright spots for the Rangers this year has been Jake Burger, the first baseman. Granted, he's only hitting .235, but he's leading the team with 19 home runs, and I think he also leads the team with 66 RBIs. So yeah, it's a whole lot of mediocrity going on in Arlington, and especially from an offensive standpoint. And Seager, he cannot stay healthy to save his life.
Yeah.
But I'd say him. Then I would say another name, that Matt Olson from the Braves. I mean, he's fifth in the league in home runs, but when it comes to Braves players, it's not often that I hear his name come up. And yeah, he's hitting .266, 883 OPS. And my other pick is Nick Gonzalez from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the handful of games that I watched, he's really been a standout. He's actually fourth in the league in batting average. He's currently hitting .309. And just a little small guy, he's on the diminutive side. He's like 5'8" or 5'9", but he plays the hot corner, and like I said, every time I watched him, he's been an absolute delight to watch. So those are my three.
The Nick Gonzalez, that's a hell of a pull. And you're right, the Braves, between Olsen and I love watching Drake Baldwin hit too.
Yeah,
their catcher. They for a team that is first in the NL East, you're right. They've not a lot of publicity. You're not hearing them talked about on the Bill Simmons podcast. So, Brett, who are your picks for underrated players?
So I'm gonna go Luis Ariz. I mean, I know he's not completely under the radar. Everybody, respects. He's one of the only high batting average guys left. Just moved to the Phillies from the Giants. The thing about him, though, that I'm going to give respect for is he and the reason that I was down on him the last few years, despite him having a high batting average, is he really couldn't play. He didn't have a good position defensively, and you kind of had to either DH him or play him at first. And if you're having to play him at one of those positions and he's not providing any power, then even if he's hitting 320, like, I can't have a slap hitter as my first baseman. I've got to be getting some power. But credit to him. I don't know if he worked all offseason on his defense or what happened, but he is now a very, very good defensive second baseman. And when he's playing good defense at a middle infield spot and hitting like this, he's an elite player. I mean, no question about it. He's a legit elite ball player now, thanks to his defense.
I feel like they're going to need it with Trey Turner as their shortstop too, because that man is making little league plays. Like, what's going on? And then, like, he still can hit it a little bit, but I don't know what he's doing defensively. Anyone else?
I've got two more. Drew Rasmussen, pitcher for Tampa Bay. He doesn't get any national recognition whatsoever, but he's third in the Cy Young odds. I checked today. He doesn't really have a chance to win it. I mean, he's probably going to go to Cease or Schlittler, but he's right up there. His ERA is like 2.90, strikes out a ton of people, consistent. An ace pitcher for the team that's leading the AL East. I mean, he deserves a lot more credit than he's getting. And finally, I'm going to shout out a Dodger, Justin Robleski. Pitched out of the bullpen last year, didn't really pitch a ton, but he got into some World Series games, held his own when he did. But he's come out this year and just been an incredible starter. I mean, I didn't see it coming at all, and you know how closely I follow all of our guys, and I didn't see this coming at all. He's been amazing.
Yeah, he tough one last night, but yeah, other than that, has looked fantastic. I've been kind of dancing around the Rays and doing a lot of Dodger homer stuff, but the Rays are my second favorite team to watch. That team, Junior Caminero, very close to getting a shrine in my home. Yandy Diaz, who looks, he's similar to Arise in a very strange way to me, where he looks like Barry Bonds. And Arise used to play a position where you would need power, but Diaz does not. Power is not really his game. More of an average guy. He's got plenty of pop, but not considering how big he is in Jonathan Aranda and Chandler Simpson. Obviously, I know me and Danny like pulling for them because they are the River Dogs affiliate. But yeah, those are some good names. And I also what were you going to say, Danny?
I was going to say, to piggyback off of what you said about Tampa, their farm system has really been lights out like these last few years. I want to say it was either 22 or 23. Like, every single farm team in their system won their league title that year. I want to say it was,
wow.
I think it was 23 because the River Dogs won it in low A. Bowling Green Hot Rods won it in high A. Montgomery Biscuits won it in double A, and the Durham Bulls won the title in triple A.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Also, the Biscuits and the River Dogs, two of the great nicknames in all of sports. Yeah, and you're seeing that at the major league level now. I think.
Yeah, and it's paying dividends.
I think the only guy homegrown guy who really hadn't done what they thought was Carson Williams. I remember watching his debut, and he had a pretty good debut, but then hasn't really figured out how to hit. And now I think he's out of the lineup. But damn, that's a hell of a little piece of trivia there. I don't know if there's no way that's ever been done before, right?
I can't think of it. Yeah, I can't think of another farm system that's done that. But
jeez, so yes, I was going to shout out for our guy KP, Yordan Alvarez with the Astros, who I believe is in Triple Crown contention, but you don't hear about the Astros too much because they've quieted the trash cans. So, All right. Now, the trade deadline as a whole, starting with teams you thought would be more aggressive. I know, Brett, you touched on this a little bit ago. So please continue on with your thoughts. Either teams you thought would be more aggressive, trades that you thought we would see and didn't, anything like that.
The team that should have been more aggressive is the Braves. They clearly needed a frontline starter to go along with Chris Sale, and they ended up getting Tyler Mahle from the Giants. That's it. Now, in their defense, they apparently were going hard after Jacob deGrom, but deGrom's got a no-trade clause, and he refused to waive it.
Yeah.
Which surprised everybody. You know, he's from Florida originally. You know, you would have thought he'd have been happy to get closer to home and play for a legit contender and all that, but he didn't. It's his right. They have a no-trade clause. They can use him if they want to, and but the Braves should have pivoted and got somebody else. So to me, that's the number one team that stands out. In terms of guys that we're hearing a lot about that I thought were going to get traded. One, the aforementioned Hunter Goodman, catcher for the Rockies. He's got like 30 home runs or something already. He's like the National League Cal Raleigh. But he's got 4 more years of team control. So I didn't realize that. When I look back at him, like, well, yeah, why would they trade him if he's got that much team control left? And then Reed Detmers is another one. I don't know how much national recognition he gets, but he's a left-handed starter for the Angels. He is legit very good. Angels probably could have got a decent haul for him. But again, he's a guy with 3 years of control. You can't, even if you're rebuilding, you can't be getting rid of guys that have that much team control. Like, what's the point? So, those are the guys I kind of maybe thought would get traded. And then once I looked into how many years they had left, I was like, oh, well.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Danny, what say you?
Danny says Brett's got this thing covered. I'm riding his coattails on this one.
I would like to ask about a team, Brett, the Milwaukee Brewers. Should they have done more at the deadline as a team that's neck and neck with the Dodgers? They just kind of were hanging out. Anything you would have done if you were the Brewers GM?
So that's interesting because it was us, them, and the Rays that was apparently in it for Skubal. That's what made the whole Skubal thing so fun because obviously I wanted my team to get him, but even if we didn't, he was going to an interesting place probably. The Brewers, they could have run it back the CC Sabathia 2008 thing with Skubal. Just, trading for the big lefty rental and just running him into the ground because they know they're not going to re-sign him. But, they traded for Dustin May. They traded for JoJo Romero, another relief pitcher for the Cardinals. Sentenzella, a relief pitcher I'm sure nobody's heard of, but he's been pretty good with the Rockies, long relief guy. They got some pitching. And the thing about the Brewers is, and we've seen Freddie Peralta be great with them and leave and be terrible. Any pitcher they get a hold of, they're going to turn him into a good pitcher. So the correct play for them may be to get these average pitchers and just turn them into great pitchers rather than going and getting a Skubal. So I still consider the Brewers a winner of the trade deadline, which we'll get to in a minute, our winners and losers. But even though they were a little bit of a disappointment and they didn't make a huge splash, I still think they did decently.
Well, let's go right into winners and losers because I have no follow-ups, and that was beautifully said. So the Brewers winners, who else were your winners? And then also we'll start winners with both of you, and then we'll end negative with losers. So Brett, the remainder of your winners. That was very, very hard.
All right. I've got a handful, so I'll go through them quickly here. The Padres, hate to say anything good about them, but their GM is fantastic. AJ Preller. I mean, he has no farm system. He has no money, and he still just pulls off incredible deals every trade deadline, every offseason. They go out and they get Casey Mize, who is another sub-3 ERA guy in the American League. He was the number one pick, a handful of years ago. He's just now coming into his own. That's a great pickup. Robbie Ray, the tightest pants in all of the world. They pick him up as well. So they badly needed starting pitching. Like Walker Buehler was their second best starting pitcher. They badly needed starters, and they went out and got two of the best ones available. The Pirates didn't make any huge moves, but you look at what they're doing. For years, we've seen how good their starting pitching is. It's just absurd how good their starting pitchers are, and they've had no offense. Well, this year they're like top 5 in offense. So you would think the Pirates are probably the best team in baseball. Well, sadly, their bullpen has been like the worst, so they're just average. But they go out and get Luke Weaver, a legit elite reliever. I didn't even write all the names down, but Kirby Yates was another one, Lake Bacher. I mean, they got like 5 relief pitchers. So they just went out and traded for an entire bullpen. So that, that's 2 teams right there that had a clear need, and they addressed the hell out of it. I'm going to shout out the Rays because they went out and got one of the best catchers, Liam Hicks. They needed a catcher like everybody did, and they went out and got the Marlins, not star, but good catcher. And Freddie Peralta, I think, is a great pickup because I think him returning to a team that's pretty analogous to the Brewers. I mean, it's another small market team that's very smart. They know how to get the most out of their pitchers. He's going back into the environment that he thrives in. That has a chance to work out well. And they gave up nothing for him. The Mets unloaded their farm system to the Brewers to get him, and then they just traded him for essentially nothing to the Rays. Dodgers, of course. I mean, the thing with Skubal, so I meant to say this earlier. Do you remember in the Phillies in 2008 won the World Series with Cole Hamels, and that was like their only good pitcher. And then they loaded up, and they were trying to build a dynasty. They went out and got Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswalt, and they never won another World Series.
Yep.
So last year when the Dodgers got Snell and they were loading up their rotation, everybody was like, oh, the Dodgers are going to win again. And I was like, well, the last time a team tried this, it didn't work out. Like, that's how good – like I was talking about that then. We've now added Skubal on top of this already historically great rotation. So, it might not work, but, it's what we should be doing. We're clearly in our window to be winning World Series, and we're unloading the farm system, unloading the checkbooks, and we're going after it. And finally, this is a kind of a off the wall one, but I'm gonna say the Orioles are a winner because y'all were talking good about Adley Rutschman earlier, and talent wise, I agree, but he's been on the IL like 3 times this year and 2 times last year, and they've got a catcher that's Samuel Basallo, who they've already signed to an extension. So they've got their catcher of the future, and they offload Adley Rutschman for just an incredible prospect haul to the Red Sox. I think that's a great move for them. I don't think that's going to help them win necessarily, but I actually thought that was a really good move by them.
I didn't hear a word you said after you talked about Robbie Ray, so here are his pants. And here, I mean, I don't know what this whole look is because he's sleeveless here too. He's got the mustache. This is a man who should be on a list somewhere. This is obscene, honestly. I don't understand what's going on here. I mean, the Giants, they have a problem with Pride Night, but then this is this is offensive. Not Pride Night. This is offensive right here. So we're getting off that. Danny, any of those teams, what of your winners list did Brett not steal? I guess is the best question.
You know what? My list is Brett's list.
I agree, honestly.
Yes.
Danny, would you like to lead off with losers of the trade deadline?
I defer to Brett.
Just throw it back on Brett.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should do that because I don't know about you, but I have to digest the Robbie Ray picture some more.
You know what? Me too.
All right, so first loser, already mentioned the Braves. They're a legit contender. I mean, and they needed a frontline starter to give themselves a chance against the Dodgers. You know, if they went out and got a legit ace, that guy and Sale together could match up with who the Dodgers are going to have. But, you know, they didn't do it. Tyler Molly is not going to match up with who the Dodgers have. So that's definitely a loss. Danny, I'm gonna force you to talk here because I'm gonna put your Texas Rangers as a loser, only because I don't know what the hell they were doing. I don't think they knew what they were doing. They were gonna be buyers up until like Saturday, and then like they lost. Did they lose like 4 or 5 going into the deadline? Then decided to be sellers.
Yeah.
They tried to get DeGrom to waive his no trade clause. Then apparently they approached Nathan Eovaldi about waiving his, and he wouldn't do it either. I mean, you've got loyal players. I guess that's a good thing.
I guess.
But, you know, I don't know. I don't know that. I guess if none of your players will agree to be traded, you can't really sell. But I don't know why you even wanted to sell because how many games out are you in the division? Like 2?
I think 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. Why are you not going for it?
Even with this losing streak, like 2.5. So, Danny, answer for your team, please.
Man, it's just an indictment. If anything, it's an indictment on the AL West. It's terrible. But
true.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the only player they picked up trade-wise was the catcher from the Angels. His name escapes me, but
Hoppy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the only acquisition they made.
That was that was weird because I think you're right. That division is something else.
Well, and they sent Josh Smith, I believe, to Seattle. I think he was a utility guy.
Yeah, even that's weird because that's to a division rival when a race is that close. I don't know if you do that, but I guess with baseball, I'm always thinking, if you get to the postseason, you have a shot. So we might as well try to make that happen. And it just seems kind of weird that you would let like a small losing streak with so much season left kind of deter you from doing anything. Especially like it's not like the NBA draft lottery where you're playing for a pick and it's going to change your franchise immediately. So that was weird because Danny, I was gonna ask you how you're feeling. We've talked a lot of Dodgers, how you're feeling about your Rangers. You've touched on some of the injury stuff and Seager not having a tough season and everything. How are you feeling about your Rangers and their postseason chances, particularly after they just did really nothing at the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, considering how bad the division is, I mean, they're still in the hunt. And like you said, there's still a lot of games to be played. So it's basically been like 3-card Molly between them, the Mariners, and the Astros. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I think it's going to boil down to September. It's going to be a tight race. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the Astros the Astros swept us over the weekend. And
yes,
yeah.
So we'll see. I agree.
And
I think like y'all are right there. So shit.
Yeah, I mean, at least I got to see them play about 3 weeks ago. That's
right.
Yeah, and it was against the Astros, and yeah, I'm extremely thankful that they have a roof on the stadium now, and I think the Rangers won. I think they won 2 out of 3. In that weekend series that I went out there. But yeah, I was walking to the ballpark and the old stadium is still directly across the street. And I was like, man, I miss, catching games there. And then when I walked through scanned my ticket and I walked in, that AC smacked me in the face. I'm like, I don't miss that ballpark at all. they go ahead and tear it down. I was like, bro, this is great.
We would have had the Danny Foxworth Memorial episode. Actually, I know what happened. Danny would have left. I guarantee it because I have some inside information about Danny at a music show here locally, and the rumors are that the headliner was taking too long. There was too many opening acts, and the headliner was taking too long. And Danny said, "I'm out."
I'm out.
And just went home.
It's too hot for this stuff.
Absolute power move. I love that because that is the way to do it.
I'm like, brother, like, I'm knocking on 50. I can't be staying out late like this anymore. Like, the check engine lights were blinking on my knees at this point. Like, the show started at 8. It's 11:15 and they're still open. The main act hasn't gotten on stage yet. I'm like, bro, I'm going home. I'm just going to I'm cut my losses.
That is like Lauryn Hill-esque.
Very.
Lil Wayne's been doing that too. Like, that is crazy. I would have been right there with you. And I think that it was the kilowatt poet himself, Joey, who gave me this information. I don't know if he knew you were actually going to leave. I think he thought maybe you were joking. And then he was like, no, he was gone though.
I was gone. Listen, man, time is the most precious currency I have. And when it's wasted, I'm you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm taking my ass in this Chevy and I'm going home. Oh well.
That is beautiful. So you would not have perished if there was no roof, but we're glad that there was.
Hey, I'm glad there was too.
Yes. Do we have more losers other than the people who stayed to watch the rest of that concert that Danny left?
I was going to say the last time I talked to Danny, I think he was waiting out in a thunderstorm for a Hawaiian shirt at a River Dogs game.
Oh, that man! You know what?
You've changed.
Wow. Yeah, but you know what? I wanted that shirt.
It was a good shirt. I was going to say,
and I got that shirt too.
That was a good shirt. I was thinking of going, and I regretted not going because I was like, I don't want to deal with the weather. And then when I saw the shirt, I was like, I should have just dealt with the weather because it was a good shirt. So that,
yeah, and
there's consistency in life.
I was this close to wearing it tonight too. I should have.
That's great. So, yeah, what else do we have left to cover, Brett? We've covered Hawaiian shirts, Robbie Ray's pants, Skubal's basketball career.
I was going to say the White Sox feel like a loser to me. This feels like a amazing opportunity for them. They're leading the division, and they go out and get Luis Castillo, who is terrible and costs money. He's expensive too. I didn't understand that trade. And the man who traded the team who traded Luis Castillo, the Mariners, they needed offense badly. They've got an incredible rotation, and they've got a guy in the minor leagues they're about to call up that's going to be elite too, Kate Anderson. They have elite pitching, and all they need is offense. And they go out and get Taylor Ward, who hit like 35 home runs last year, goes to the Orioles this year. They make him the leadoff hitter, and he took that shit way too seriously. He took that job too seriously. He has no power anymore. He's just an on-base percentage guy. I mean, it's like a Hack Wilson-esque drop-off in power.
It's terrible.
He just completely changed who he was, and I don't know. He ain't going to hit any home runs in Seattle, in that cavernous ballpark. So I don't know. I don't understand that trade.
Yeah. Well, I think that will do it. I think we've covered it all. I mean, we've covered, as I was just saying, we've covered more than all. And you got your money's worth here tonight, people, if you were listening. So, Danny, we're going to clear out and plug away, my friend. Let us know all the Danny Foxworth Entertainment Network facts.
Oh man. So you can listen to my podcast. I have 4 of them. I have the baseball podcast, At the Plate with Danny Foxworth, which both Brett and Brandon have been on. So check that out. I have Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. That one is just like a potpourri of topics. Then have a candle podcast called A Wicked Good Time with Danny Foxworth, where I just sniff and review candles in real time. I don't sniff them in store. I wait until I hit record to sniff them and give my review, and then just like have random thoughts in between sniffs. And then Growing Up Low Country with Liz and Danny, which is just me and my friend Liz, who is the very first friend I ever made in my entire life. And we decided to do a podcast together, and we just did a live episode of that podcast a couple weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. So again, you can find those on all DSPs, and you can also find my YouTube channel, which is at Danny Foxworth 843, and you can find all the videos for every single one of those podcasts that I name on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to that. I'm like this close to 600 subscribers. I think at last count I'm at 594. So just trying to knock that milestone off my list. But yeah, that's what it is for the DFEN. So Brandon and Brett, man, this is always a pleasure just getting to chop it up with y'all.
No, it is incredible. And please do yourself a favor and subscribe to Danny's podcast, because it is always entertaining. He's always doing something cool, whether it's like you mentioned, the live stream or doing remote on location recordings. He's always got like incredibly interesting guests outside of even me and Brett. So do yourself a favor and subscribe. Brett, do you have anything to plug?
Drew Charter School. My daughter just started kindergarten there. And the U.S. stock market. The Dow Jones, record high today. Let's go.
That's beautiful. That is a first on these airwaves. Gentlemen, this has been fun as always. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to it half as much as I enjoyed participating. This has been another episode of Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. Thank you for watching, listening, rating, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing. Head over to brandonsilvers.com. Subscribe there for my weekly newsletter, the greatest sports watch guide in the history of the world. That's going to do it for this episode, and I will catch y'all later.